Heads up, people who freak out when my videos get political.
Mr. Brown, or was it a victory? Perhaps I can help you, Chuck.
Lose the
I think
vest.
the election was a victory for good government. It might also be called a victory for propaganda.
Great.
But that would have been equally true if our opponent had won.
But that's what I mean. Everybody uses propaganda.
We said the mayor stood for good government and promised good government.
But it's true, isn't it?
What's true?
Third
What
base.
does good government mean? Is the mayor's idea of good government the same as yours?
I see. It's a glittering generality.
One of the best.
Classic.
There's another.
Yes. And why do you suppose our opponents chose that phrase?
I guess because everybody likes a real American.
Right.
I don't know,
And
guys.
they wanted to transfer that liking for a real American to Mr. Butler.
And that's what you mean by the technique of transfer.
That's it. Now
Yikes.
let's see if you can recognize another technique.
It's called
A
doxing.
day or so after that poster came out, I said in one of my campaign speeches,
Ketchup is a vegetable.
our opponent advertises himself as a real American. I say he is unreal, unrealistic. He is a visionary, a theorist, a dreamer.
I
He
would
is so
die or
thirsty
kill for
public
this man.
office that like a weary traveler in the desert, he sees a mirage, and he is trying to sell it to you as real.
Oh, and he's also a satanic baby killer who's funded by George Soros.
Now, what would you call that?
That's name-calling, visionary, theorist, dreamer.
That's right.
Got him.
And those are very polite names. But now I want you to listen to something else.
The place, Berlin, the year 1930.
For my collection of propaganda materials, I've made a special record of part of one of Mr. Butler's radio speeches.
You're a weird guy, mister.
Mayor Cooper asks that he be judged by his performance in office. Very well. Let's ask him who was mayor when the municipal waterworks fell into such a state of disrepair that the whole town was without water for 2 days. Let's ask.
Yeah, let's get him on the phone right now.
No, let's not.
Oh,
It
okay.
might embarrass him.
And now a word about Warby Parker.
You recognize the technique?
No, I don't.
It's a tricky one.
Is it true about the waterworks?
Partly true. That's what we call card stacking.
Lame name.
Cooper was mayor when the pumping station broke down, but it was the men in office before him who allowed it to get into such a rundown condition, and it finally gave way before he could get anything done.
Is
I
that
see.
propaganda?
And card stacking is choosing some facts and leaving out others and arranging them to suit your purpose.
That's the idea. Now, did you see our little campaign movie?
Oh, the one about the birth of that nation?
Yes, a couple of times.
Well, let's look at it again as an example of propaganda techniques.
It was a testimonial, wasn't it?
Yes, we used other techniques too. See if you can spot them. Will you get the light, please?
This new technique is called deep fake. I think you're going to like it. Oops, this is highlights from the high school play. Wait a minute. This had better be Terry Jones in a dress.
Land sakes. A body hardly has time enough. The house to clean, and the washing to do, and the men folks to feed.
Fresh, homemade patriarchy.
They like their chocolate cakes, too. But I do want to take time to tell you that I've known Dick Cooper ever since he was knee-high to a grasshopper.
Oh, God, he's a
He
freak.
comes of a good, respectable family, just as honest as the day is long. And he knows our town. He's one of us.
Tara DeLu, the Bob.
That's why I'm going to vote for Mayor Cooper. And all my friends are going to vote for him, too.
Or else.
We'll stop a minute, Chuck. Recognize the technique?
That must be what you call plain folks.
That's right. You'll find many versions of the appeal based on the common man, the man on the street, log cabin to president. Now let's look at the rest of the movie.
Here's where it gets really racist.
Yes, Mrs. Hamline is voting for Mayor Cooper. Her friends are voting for Mayor Cooper. Your friends are voting for Mayor Cooper.
Mayor Cooper is
The
voting
people
for
know
Mayor
what they
Cooper.
want and what they
Hanging
want
with
is
Mr.
Mayor
Cooper is voting for Mayor
Don't
Cooper.
you be left behind. Get on board the Victory Special.
Choo
For
choo!
Mayor Cooper and ride with him to victory.
The most important election of our lifetime. Probably the last free election. Your only hope of survival is to vote for Cooper.
That ending's easy to spot. It's the bandwagon.
Yes, the propaganda we've been talking about is easy to detect. But a great deal of propaganda is much more hidden, much harder to detect.
Not anymore.
That's what's bothering me. Even in a small local election, There's so much propaganda.
Whenever you're tracking down propaganda, get as many different points of view as you can.
Do you know something?
What?
Chicken
I
butt?
think that it might be interesting to make a really serious study of propaganda.
I find it interesting, and there's plenty to study. Here I have just a few of the many books on the subject. You can read them. You can keep your eyes and ears open for little bits of propaganda. And, of course, you can study whole propaganda campaigns.
By the way, is this evil?
Here are a few on which I've been gathering material. Hitler and Nazi Germany had a campaign of propaganda that ran over many years.
One of your favorites, you say?
Then there's a wealth of propaganda to study on the subject of Russia and communism.
All the greatest hits in one convenient collection.
There's propaganda to study in our own American elections, national as well as local.
Ah, right,
And
the
in
good
many of the
propaganda.
major issues on which elections often hinge.
Or unhinge, as the
Well,
case
if I
may
don't
be.
learn about propaganda, it won't be because there's no way to study it.
That's right, Chuck. Remember the techniques of propaganda and use the procedure we out is a powerful force.
What?
So powerful that your study
He's been activated.
Your study of propaganda is important not only to you, but to me and to the world.
What about dog whistles? Thank you so much for watching Fun with Shorts. This series is supported by Patreon and patrons like these wonderful people right here. They get early access to new episodes and exclusive episodes every month. Also, check out the updated funwithshorts.com for DVDs and merch and all the good stuff. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next time.